These nature designs often include materials that can be hard to obtain, expensive, or both, but it doesn't have to be that way. What if I told you this incredible design costs less than $50 to make using minimal materials and things I found outside? It's true, and it all began with a 2-gallon all-in-one aquarium. I knew this would be easy to use because it has everything we need: the tank, a lid, lights, and a pump. Plus, I got it on sale for only $24. We can't use it like this though, it needs a few modifications first. To properly execute, we must determine the minimum water line. This will dictate where the adjustments need to occur. Part of that will be made possible via the tank's filter cartridge. It'll be transformed into a divider, but it doesn't fit. The tab on the side has to be removed, and no need to leave the carbon in it either. Eliminating excess batting will also ensure a clean install. Now this will be a perfect divider, and by default it's taller than the water line. However, it will work better if it's elevated. I used a silicone designed for plastics because the standard stuff wouldn't work. Unfortunately, this caused the barrier to slip. Instead, I had to elevate it with foam while it cured. The next day, the silicone has cured, rendering the components stable, which means we can address the waterfall. We need stones to create a false bottom. Where better to get those than outside? To avoid introducing excess debris, I scrubbed them. These won't be visible, so their appearance doesn't matter, but their placement does. The large ones are stable enough to hold back the smaller bits without putting pressure on the divider. If they're not placed like this, the pressure may cause the barrier to fail. However, after doing this, I realized the silicone was an unnecessary expense, and there's an easier option: waterproof seam tape. We'll need it for the later steps, so why not use it here instead? I dismantled everything, cut the tape, stuck it on, and secured it. That ain't going nowhere. With everything reinstated, it was time for the waterfall, which will go right here. The trick to making it work is the plastic packaging the tank came with. Behind the spillway is the perfect spot to secure it with the seam tape. The combination of these elements creates an impermeable barrier to retain water. Think of it like a pond liner. I had to backfill under this to level it out with a divider. I also taped it down for good measure. Of course, I need proper hardscape to create a waterfall, and I figured the best place to look was here at the creek. Here I collected flat stones and sand. The stones were too large though. I was also on the hunt for the perfect branch. Too long, too rotten, too covered in ants. This one will do. Back at the tank, I began stacking the stones. My goal was to determine how to integrate the branch. I had to cut it down, but making it smaller wasn't enough. The back also had to be notched for the perfect fit. I just had to wedge the branch in with foam and tape back the liner. With that, it's time to create the falls, but not like this. I had to destroy what I made to rebuild it again with expanding foam. We need it within the gaps to facilitate water flow over the rocks. Spill out is inevitable, but it's easily addressed later. Partway through this though, it began sliding, so I stopped building, stabilized it, and allowed it to cure. After it dries is the time to remove any excess, so that's exactly what I did. However, I noticed a problem. The liner is too small and wouldn't hold water as intended. Of course, the scape had to come out yet again, so I could tape another piece of packaging to the right. And after putting it back, I added the remaining stones. It was almost ready for water at this point, but required more stability. The other end of the stick was perfect for the job. I wasn't sure what to expect with water. It looked pretty good, but the spillway was too wide. Stacking small pieces of tape allowed me to dial this in with ease. It was even closer after I removed the excess liner. The only remaining issue was on the right. It was still too strong. Foaming a rock at the top significantly helped. With the hard part out of the way, we can finally move on to the fun stuff and make this look nice. Polyester fluff was the cheapest material I could find for creating barriers. This can be used above the false bottom and under the divider. In both instances, it will retain fine particles. I wanted to create a seamless look, and let's be real, this fluff looks terrible. The rocks from the creek were ideal for hiding it. And thankfully most were stable as is, but I added foam in a few spots for good measure. The fluff will help retain the substrate as well. Although a handful of dirt may work, the best results occur when a range of particles are present. I achieved this by collecting dirt from 2 locations in my yard and from underneath leaf litter. An added bonus is that it's usually teeming with beneficial microfauna like springtails. Adding leaves can help feed them and other detritivores. What's missing though is bark. Breaking it up along with these fibers will help aerate the mix. The entire time I did this, I just couldn't shake the feeling I was being watched. That's because I was. We might as well use that charcoal from before to add even more stability. It was so satisfying to see the infrastructure disappear beneath the substrate. However, when I was partway through, I got an idea. I ran outside to get bark and broke it up to create a retaining wall for more substrate. This tiered effect helped add even more depth to the design. That pretty much completes the base hardscape, but it still looks a little silly. The thing that's really going to set it off though is the moss. I found most of this on the side of the road and within a rock crevice by my driveway. I can think of no better plant to hide foam than moss, but not all will work like this. A rule of thumb that served me well is to use moss with finer textures or ones that are growing in a wet location. It's also really helpful to see how the moss affects the water as you go. Mine caused the water to spill out on the left, which I don't want. I adjusted it accordingly and continued mossing. Adding pops of texture with rocks or other elements helps break up the green and, believe it or not, make the moss even more of a focal point. Leaf litter is especially great for this. Just break it up into smaller bits to retain that sense of scale. However, even after all of this, the water feature is still lacking. So I rinsed the rocky sand from before and sprinkled it in the front. Slowly adding the water helped keep it from going everywhere. More moss, small twigs, and acorn caps brought things full circle. After all, it's always the small details that make the difference. In taking a step back, I'd say it's nearly complete. Before we can add anything, the holes on the back need to be sealed. Knitting mesh is probably the best option. After cutting it to size, I stuck it to the openings with tape. After this, I was on the hunt again for something very specific. I got closer with each location, but these weren't what I wanted. Eventually, I found one under this bark, a tiny millipede. I had a hunch there would be even more under the leaves, and sure enough there were. I just couldn't shake that feeling again though. Anyway, let's see what our army of little millipedes think of their new home. See, I told you it was true. A paludarium made with minimal materials and things found outside. I think it's a great example of what's possible on a humble budget with simple techniques. Sure, we could have got it down even further with more DIY techniques, but those would immediately complicate the process. In reality, the vast majority of things you see me make probably cost far less than you may assume. That's because I build from scratch, work with what I have, and wait to buy things on sale, which is what I did here. You may be wondering though, how much did it cost? The tank was on sale for $30, but I had an additional discount and only spent $24. The polyfill was on sale too. Everything else was purchased at regular price, giving me a grand total of $43.22. All things considered, I'd say that's pretty fair. What do you think? Nature design is an incredible format that doesn't have to be inaccessible. What it all comes back to is creativity, vision, and know-how. I've been able to develop my craft over several decades, and it brings me great joy to share it here with you today. However, I have a question. What will you make?